Broad Street Review podcast is an extension of Broad Street Review, Philly's home for arts, culture, and conversation, an online arts and culture journal covering the greater Philadelphia area. I'm your host, Darnell Radford. Today on the podcast, CJ Higgins drops in to talk about Theater Philadelphia's 8th annual Philly Theater Week. This year's event runs from April 3rd to the 13th. Here is my interview with CJ Higgins for Philly Theater Week. And welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and today I am in the virtual studio with CJ Higgins. CJ Higgins,
Hello.
Representing Theater Philadelphia. In full disclosure, we both represent Theater Philadelphia.
That we do. Darnell's on the board.
Yes. CJ is the Director of Operations and Programming. So a good bit of what comes out of Theater Philadelphia has come through CJ in some way. So CJ, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my third or fourth time being on interviewing with you, Darnell. It's always a pleasure. So happy to be here in your beautiful, huge, luxurious studio recording space.
I like to say palatial, my palatial virtual studio.
Let's go with the keywords. Yeah.
Yes, we both serve Theater Philadelphia in some way. Theater Philadelphia is a champion of Philadelphia theater, and this Philly Theater Week is now in its 8th year. It's the 8th annual Philly Theater Week. How excited are you this year about the 8th annual?
I'm very excited. This is my 4th Philly Theater Week as a staff member of Theater Philadelphia. So I have now had a hand in running half of the Philly Theater Weeks that have happened. And then next year I'll have run the majority of them that have happened. So from a selfish standpoint, I'm very oh, wow, look at me go. But I have also been a participant in Philly Theater Week, even before I was working for Theater Philadelphia, starting with the first one in 2018. I've participated in it every single year, and it's a program that I'm deeply passionate about. So I'm really excited to be doing the work for this round.
Great. So there's a whole process, it's happening, but you have to nail down a date. You have to kind of keep an eye out for what everyone else is doing, figure out what is the ideal time frame to kind of launch this and so on. Talk a little bit about the process this year and whether it was easier because you're in the 8th annual or more of a challenge because of other scenarios. Just talk about how putting this one together, what was that experience like?
Sure. In terms of date selection, it's always a funny thing because you sort of have to keep your head on a swivel to hear about people's season planning and programming, which is not necessarily information that we tend to get around the time that we're making these decisions. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of pattern recognition of when theater companies tend to produce shows, which April is one of the more popular times for sure. Before the pandemic began, we had Philly Theater Weeks happening in February, which was lovely, and February also tends to be a busier time. We had just shifted to April to reflect the fact that due to the pandemic, many companies may feel more inclined to do outdoor productions and things of that nature. So we wanted to make sure that the weather would be nice for them. Plus, it falls at a nice halfway point between when the next Philly Theater Week is versus when the Barrymores are. And those are the two major programs over at Theater Philadelphia. So having 6 months of space between those really helps with sort of the workflow of making sure that both of those programs get their due diligence and their attention from us over here.
That's great. And I don't know that many people really think about it that way. It's also, these are two big programs that Theater Philadelphia does. And so, spacing them out in a way like this lines up, it works logistically, administratively, and, lining up with the season and how things are going. Good. Yeah, I remember, early on when it started in February, and I also remember that year that the pandemic hit. And, it was like, February is great because it's almost a very hard time to produce a show in January. It's like New Year.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their resolutions that they're about to forget.
Right.
But it's also like an hibernation mindset too.
Yeah, for sure. I remember the first Philly Theater Week, I made the trek out to Villanova to go see their production of Mr. Burns, a post-electric play, which fantastic production. And I had a really lovely night. That said, it was also snowing. So we tend to run across that a bit less in April. And I'm going to knock on wood because otherwise what I say there about the weather being somewhat predictable is going to age like milk. Buy me next year.
Climate change.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, absolutely. So with that and everything's coming on, this year we have 47 events.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a record or is that pretty consistent?
It's not quite a record, but it is more than we had last year and I believe the year prior. I sort of tend to keep track of, how many events we have registered and like the patterns that go along with that. And there was a moment where I was like, oh goodness, are we going to just have like fewer and fewer folks participating? But fortunately, people were really excited about it this year. They've been excited about it every year, of course. But I think this year I was really like, okay, I am going to badger people. I am going to become annoying about this. Because it's legitimately a program that I think is really beneficial to theaters of all different sizes, budgets, resources and what have you. So, I'm going to yell about it as much as possible. And this time we have 47 folks joining us and with all different types of shows, workshops, fundraisers, a bunch of stuff that I personally am really excited about.
Can you, do you have, what am I trying to say? Can you see whether the participants this year are new or returning? Like, is there more returning participants to Philly Theater Week or are there more new participants?
That's a great question because what counts as like new versus returning? Also, we have like an 8-year history of this.
Yeah.
So there are some companies that won't participate one year, but then participate another year just because of how scheduling lines up with their programming and things like that.
Yeah, very good point.
So it would be hard to pin down exact numbers of who's a returning producer, organizer, artist, and what have you versus who is new. But that said, we do have a lot of organizations and individual artists performing who are making their Philly Theater Week debut. And that's always very exciting to me. I'm so glad when we reach new people with this.
That's awesome. So as we are speaking, was it next week? We've got some days before it kicks in. It kicks in.
Don't remind me, Darnell.
I know. I'm trying to. Yes. Don't remind you. I'm thinking about if you're listening to this, Philly Theater Week is on right now. So go buy tickets, plural, because theater's more fun with a +1.
Yes.
Now that I've said that. Okay. So Philly Theater Week begins with a kickoff celebration. So let's talk about that and talk about the venue.
Yes, absolutely. So we are going to be having a kickoff event that is in combination with Temple's Raise Your Voice event. So it's kind of like a Raise Your Voice / kickoff event. And that's going to be taking place on Monday, March 31st, starting at 6 o'clock and going until 8:30. And that'll be at Temple's Performing Arts Center, or TPAC, as it's called colloquially. we've got a bunch of different organizations who will be tabling there. So it's a really great opportunity, like in the Raise Your Voice column, especially for like college students and things like that, and other like professionals in the area who are looking to connect with each other. It's a really amazing like networking event, and that saying that out loud even feels like antithetical because it's like, I know I personally, I hear the word networking and I'm like, oh, Jesus God. Yeah. But like, I have been to this event several times, and it's always really wonderful. And I see so many like friendly faces and like people that I'm excited about. So definitely worth it. And then we're also going to be having some performances by artists who are participating in this year's event. And we are going to have the lovely Miss Pat Adams from Wilma, who is going to be our keynote speaker. And Miss Pat is a delight, a gem, an angel, just like everything that I feel is beautiful and wonderful about Philly theater. So I definitely like, even if it was just Miss Pat there, like I feel that event would be fully worth it. But fortunately, there's going to be a lot of other amazing folks there as well. And I'm going to be there working it. So if you're not enticed by anything else, I will be there. If you don't know anybody else there, I'm going to be there. So just come find me.
I think the Kickoff is a lot of fun. I've been to a few of them. I can't say I've been to all of them because scheduling doesn't always line up.
Yeah,
but
of course,
I think the last one I was at the Kimmel Center, and it was just a lot of fun because like there was a little sort of hang before where we had light fair, and you're just popping in and seeing all these people that you see from afar most of the time. And then when you see them, you're like, oh my God, you're here too. And you're here. Well, this is great. And it just feels like a love fest. And we had a couple of drinks. So
that'll do it.
Once you get upstairs, then you get upstairs to the Kickoff. And then you're just surprised by how many participants are in the fest, in the theater week, right? But then the variety, like I remember that year just being blown away at like the varying disciplinaries that were presenting, and it was just like, wow, this is awesome. Like you don't have to curate this. Everyone who is participating is the curation. Like and once everybody is all signed up, you start to see what it is becoming, and it becomes an event that is that has so many different categories that you can fit yourself into in terms of interest and in space. So I think that's so great.
Yeah, that's something that's always so fun for me for Philly Theater Week is that like there is literally something for everybody. Like, are you looking for like a standard musical? We got those. You're looking for a new musical? We've got those. Are you looking for like a cabaret, a workshop, multiple workshops? Are you looking for virtual events still? We have multiple virtual events. Those are still going on. So like if you are just looking to experience Philly theater in any capacity, anywhere within a 35-mile radius of City Hall, like we have something for you, and you can pay what you can tickets for it. That's beautiful.
Absolutely. And we'll sort of dig into this lineup. We're not picking favorites. We're just pointing things out.
Of course.
But since we're here with CJ, let's talk about one of the offerings in Philly Theater Week by Hummingbirds, Bards University.
Yes. So in January, I became the newly appointed artistic director of the Hummingbirds Theater Troupe, which is thank you so much. Thank you. It's volunteer.
Way to volunteer, CJ.
Yeah.
Way to go.
But the Hummingbirds is specifically a queer theater collective that creates original musical theater works. But something that was important to me as well, like as we're getting into Philly Theater Week and trying to figure out what we want to do, we had like a long time ago offered like 1 or 2 workshops. and they were a blast. And something that's been important to me stepping into the artistic director role in the Hummingbirds is like connecting with like the community and providing like accessible experiences, like physically, financially, and what have you. And I know that there are a lot of folks who there's like a demand for workshops and like being able to learn new skills. But workshops, for good reasons, tend to sometimes be financially inaccessible for folks who can't spend a lot of money in order to learn a new skill. So I thought that it would be great to have one day where we have a couple of different workshops back to back. And folks could opt into like one or two workshops that they felt was interesting, or go for all three and sort of make it a back-to-back experience. So we came up with Bards University, which will be on Saturday, April 5th, over at Equilibrium Dance Academy in South Philly. And we've got 3 different workshops for you. The first one, which will be at 12:30, is Unlocking Shakespeare with Ryan Walter. I've taken this workshop before, and it has been immensely helpful in just sort of cracking the code, so to speak, of Shakespearean text and language, and like helping to actually like connect to the words that you're saying, which can sometimes be a little intimidating for folks. This workshop does a really great job of sort of like de-stressing that process. And then at 2:00, we have a stage management workshop called Stage Manage with Melody, being led by Melody Wong, who is an esteemed stage manager in the Philly theater scene. I feel like if you could think of a theater, she's worked at it. So I am really excited to hear what she has to say on the subject of stage management, and you will too. Last but certainly not least, at 3:30, there is a workshop on memorizing text and getting off book, and like best practices for how to do so effectively and in a way that respects your mind and body. And that is led by, let me check. Oh, me. Oh my God, I'm leading it. So yeah.
Oh my God, that one's by CJ.
That's so crazy. But yeah, you can attend any one of those that speak to what you're interested in learning about, or attend all 3 of them, like I will be doing.
That's great. Because yeah, I think there's always going to be a need and a welcome space for workshops. Anything about like honing in on this craft, I really appreciate and celebrate. And unlocking Shakespeare, I think that's great, because might be a while since you've been in in a course, like really diving into it, or maybe you want to get into a Shakespeare piece, or maybe you're just so blown away at the outrageous cost of Othello on Broadway right now, and you just want to figure out how to put your own Shakespeare piece together.
Because the one ticket was like $1,000, right?
Like $921 or something like that. It's
Like, I love my man Jake Gyllenhaal, but like I can't shell that out. I promise here at the Hummingbird Theater Troupe LLC, to be determined, we will not charge you $930 for a ticket. I promise that will not come up.
Yeah, I say before you take the trek to skip out on rent to see that show, perhaps look in your own neighborhood and see that there are probably a few Shakespeare productions that are way more accessible, and you should definitely support them.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind.
And if you squint your eyes, one of those actors is sure to look like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Not to say that production, isn't worth your time. I'm just saying Shakespeare is in the public domain.
Mm-hmm. And it has worth. Yeah. I don't think the worth is $900.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, if Othello on Broadway wants to sponsor us, that'll be great.
Yeah. I'll be happy to do that. I take back everything I said about Mr.
See how easily we roll over? Absolutely.
Definitely reflective of both of us as people.
Yeah. So I only brought that up to celebrate unlocking Shakespeare with Ryan Walter, who Ryan Walter was in one of my early shows as a theater company I represented. So hi, Ryan.
Yeah.
Glad you're out here and still sharing your craft with us.
Yes. Ryan is also, not to plug something else I'm in, but Ryan is also the co-director of Juliet and Romeo over at the drama group of Germantown, which I actually served as intimacy director and props designer on that production.
Okay, great. Way to plug. That's it.
I did it. That's it.
Yeah, these are all great. Stage management with Melody Wong. Like, Melody is a wonderful human being. Melody is our stage manager at Theater Exile, and we just love Melody. And I don't know anybody who doesn't love Melody. So if you want to know about stage management, because Melody is no joke when it comes to stage management. Miss Pat is no joke, but Melody is also no joke. So, if you want to learn from the best
stage managers in this,
absolutely. Not to say no, our stage managers take it seriously. We celebrate every single one of them. But if you wanna be on solid footing as a stage manager and go after these opportunities, yes, stage manage with Melody. That would be great. And getting off book, like, the thing about getting off book is this isn't just for actors.
No, not at all.
This is so valuable if you ever give a speech, if you ever have to present in front of people. Like, these are the things that make your delivery more organic and allows you to feel more comfortable in the space, and will allow the people that you're presenting to receive what you're saying. So yeah, that's good. These are all good, useful tasks for not just for theater.
Yeah. I mean, the getting off book workshop, like, yes, it's very much about getting off book. No ifs, ands, or buts. However, those skills, just more generally speaking, apply to memorization as a skill. And like, if you are a person who is looking to improve their memory skills, then I've got a lot of tips and tricks for you. What fruits are very good to eat for that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because like I've said it a million times, I'll say it again, like, memorization is itself a skill that has to be practiced. Like, some people do have like good or bad memory, but like that's like something that you have to like continuously practice. So if you feel yourself wanting a little bit more practice in that, come to me. I'll help you out. I've been praised / mocked for my memorization, my past memorization skills in the past. And you too can take advantage of that.
Absolutely. The best way to learn is to learn from mistakes.
It's true.
So tell us how to participate in Bard's University.
Yeah, well, this is true of every Philly Theater Week show, so I'll just go ahead and drop that. You can go to www.phillytheaterweek.com. And that will take you to a website that will show you every single show that's happening during Philly Theater Week. And you can sort it by, like, if you're only available on April 8th, you can check out all the shows that are available April 8th. You can sort it by, like, type of show. You can sort it by accessibility features available. So, yeah, check out that website. And while you're there, if you happen to see this fun little workshop series called Bard's University, you should definitely go click on that one and get tickets and tell all of your friends also as well.
Yeah. And it's on Saturday, April 12th?
April 5th.
April 5th?
Yeah, we got there was a moment we changed the date.
Okay.
Yes,
all right. So, so you
really
click through. There you go. You click through and you will get the ticket you need for the date that the event is happening.
Yes, okay, we won't let you go on the wrong date. I promise.
No, absolutely. Okay. All right, listeners, that's Bard's University. If you know anybody who can benefit from those 3 workshops, you should definitely share the link with them.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So the lineup, like we said, 47 events in the lineup. It kind of runs the gamut. There are fundraisers, there are family-friendly events, screenings, festivals, showcases, LGBTQ events. Like you can definitely really drill it down to whatever it is you're specifically looking for on the particular dates that you have availability. And that's really cool. Looking through it, have you, besides your own event, looking through it and like, getting all these people set up to be presented in Philly Theater Week, are there any events that stand out for you that are like, you know what, I could see huge value in that one, or if I had time, I would go to that one?
Oh my God, there's so many of them that I'm like, if I had the time, I only have so many days of the week and I'm spending all of them on Ticket Leap. But that said, I do have a couple of shows that I have been excited about besides literally all of them. I got
CJ's
tickets
picks coming up.
Yes, CJ's pick. I got tickets for New Heaven, New Earth, which is being presented by Shakespeare in Clark Park on April 7th. I also am checking out Songs from the Road from Diecast on April 6th. I believe it's also happening April 4th as well. I'm not going to be off book for absolutely all of these dates, but these are just the ones I happen to know about off the top of my head. I'm also checking out and Full Title Ahoy, An Evening with August Strindberg, followed by a perfectly normal performance of Miss Julie. I saw that when it was being presented in November, and it was so fun. My friend Jen Adams does just a really silly, fun time, and definitely worth checking out. I'll also be seeing clippings by Theater by Development, which, not to plug myself again, but I keep myself busy. I wrote a show for that one, so I'll definitely be looking at that. But there's some other short plays in that I'm really excited to see. Goodness, what else? There's so many things. There's a production of The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals happening that if you grew up with Star Kid like I did, the people who did a Harry Potter musical, they also wrote that show, and it's a horror musical, and it is both hilarious and terrifying. So if you want to tread that, you should go to the Mask of LaSalle University. Theater in the X is doing When Monkey Don't Stop No Show screening and discussion on April 13th. I got to see that show live this past summer, and it was really fun. And I'm sure the screening of it and the talk pack are going to be awesome. The cast was just a delight to watch.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just going to keep saying sure. And you're going to find me at the end of all 40.
That's a good list. This has been CJ's Picks on Broad Street Review.
CJ's non-definitive list because it's all 47 of them.
Yeah. I think that's good because when I looked at the list, I was like, wow, there's a lot of shows getting sort of a remount. They had been in various festivals or they had a short run, and it's like, maybe if everybody didn't see it, they get a chance to see it again. So that's really cool. I saw so some of the things that stood out for me was Peep Show by Paper Doll Ensemble. This is a fundraiser, and I believe they've done it before, right?
I mean, Paper Doll has definitely done fundraisers for Philly Theater Week in the
called
past.
Peep Show. I think I do remember Peep Show being promoted before.
I mean, how can you forget that graphic? It's so awesome. I love it so much. I know,
because I remember whenever I mention it to someone, I start my whole rant about Peeps, because a lot of people either love or hate Peeps. Mm-hmm. And everybody has if you like Peeps, if you eat or consume Peeps, there's a particular way that you prefer to consume them. And it's kind of different for everyone.
Now I'm thinking, it's been a while since I've eaten Peeps, and I'm trying to think of, if I have any particular methods or if I just, go for it.
Well,
but there are a couple of remounts as well. I was thinking of 40-Year-Old Ballerino by Chris Davis.
Chris Davis.
He's run that one a couple of times, and I'm excited to see it come to Philly Theater Week.
And he's taken it to New York.
Yeah, very exciting for him.
Yes. Some things that just basically looking at them, you're like, oh, fun. There's a family-friendly event called Role Play and Improvised Adventure by SideQuest Theater. I've been hearing some things about SideQuest Theater. I have not experienced an event yet. This might be it.
Yeah, they're newer, and I've already been hearing rave reviews about their work. So I'm hoping I get a chance to check them out. If not during Philly Theater Week, then at some other point. They have a lot of programming.
I think a lot of people are looking for some fun elements of theater.
Yes.
And so I think Philly doesn't disappoint in that sense. There are a lot of theater people who are using those skills to have a fun experience. And I think that that's really great.
Yeah.
Let's see, some things that I've been in some way a part of their journey and watching them kind of move forward. Under the LGBTQ plus, Are We Free Yet project?
Yes.
By Angel Pirate and Hawkeye Entertainment, Page to Stage LLC. That is Mix T.S. Hawkins, as one of the exiled as well.
Yes.
This is an interesting piece, and I'm so glad that it's getting many opportunities to be experienced by audiences. So that's one that's definitely in there as well. And then there are things that are like, things that sort of come back because they're just sort of in their wheelhouse. 1812 Productions producing Let's Pretend We're Married. One of the very early productions that I covered as Rep Radio was Let's Pretend We're Married.
Gosh.
And it's Jen Childs and Tony Braithwaite. It's so cute. They're so cute together. They make a good duo, performance duo. And Let's Pretend We're Married is fun. I think they have another one called Let's Pretend We're Famous. And they're just a lot of fun. But that's 1812. It's Philadelphia's only all comedy theater. And so it's definitely worth checking out if comedy is your vibe.
Yeah.
If you like musicals, Musicolab is doing a Spotlight 3 by 30. And so it's three 10-minute musicals, I believe. Is that what that is?
Selections from new musicals.
Yeah, but it's a showcase. And I've been to some Musicolab presentations, and Musicolab as an organization, just for everybody listening, is really focused on elevating new musicals by local writers, and so that's been a really cool initiative. They even go as far as to promote any other musicals that they see coming up in the area. So that's really great, because I do think there's a great deal of love for musicals here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'd love to be at the epicenter of new musicals. So great. Way to go for Musicolab. Yeah,
I got to perform in a Musicolab almost right before the pandemic hit, actually. And that was just a really fun experience. And I heard some amazing music from some wonderful composers. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And for those nerds out there, it's funny. Art and theater companies doing The Hobbit.
Yes.
It's family friendly and a lot of fun. That's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to that, particularly for the cast. And
I was going to say the cast is really great.
Yeah. Yeah. And Rebecca Wright directing. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. There's tons of things. Like over the summer, I think it was in the Fringe, I saw Theater by Development. Is that TBD?
Yeah, TBD.
TBD. They're here in Philly Theater Week doing clippings, a new play festival.
Yep, that's the one my show's going to be in.
Yeah. That'll be a lot of fun. This is a fun lineup. Way to go, CJ.
Thank you. I created a Google form and just told people to fill it out.
Way to go on that Google form, then.
Yes. I think that I'm like, every time I make a good Google form, I'm like, yes, I've done it. I've
pat yourself on the back.
But yeah, I do genuinely feel like I could just sit here and get excited about literally every show that's happening in Philly Theater Week. Like, I strongly encourage anybody to go to phillytheaterweek.com and check out all of the offerings, because like there's going to be at least one thing there for you.
Absolutely. There literally is something for everyone here. And the ones that we pointed out are just, we know everybody, right?
Right.
So we have some kind of connection, and so that's why those stand out. It's not to discredit anything else that's in the lineup. Like
Yeah, no.
everything in the lineup has a bit of interest, and it's like, if I have enough time to do all of this, so you can actually choose your own adventure here, which is a lot of fun, by going in and looking at the dates you're free and seeing what's there. I'm also seeing that my partner might want to do a year with Frog and Toad.
Oh yeah,
We love
over
Frog
at
and Toad.
Eastern.
Yeah, at Eastern University, we have many Frog and Toad plushies in our house. We have T-shirts.
Of course, y'all do.
Yes,
Of course, you do.
Yeah, because they were in the family way back when. So
That's
so we
awesome.
love them. Yeah. So Philly Theater Week is a big deal, and as we're listening to this, it's on stage. So go be a part of that. But what else is going on at Theater Philadelphia that we should keep an ear out for, as Philly Theater Week ends in a rousing success?
For sure. Philly Theater Week the Philly Theater Week. I'm on the grind. Theater Philadelphia has a lot of wonderful programming. Obviously, the two major events that we run through during the year are Philly Theater Week. Hi, you're here. And the Barrymore Awards program, which the award ceremony for that tends to take place in the fall. That said, we have a lot of really awesome programs outside of those two flagships. And a lot of them are focused on sort of like developing like the community and the future of like Philly theater. So specifically, we've got the Ubuntu Young Artist Fellows who are working during Philly Theater Week, but also join us for like before and after a bit. And that program is we mentor a small handful of fellows who help us with like the implementation of Philly Theater Week, or in the case of like when they join us in the fall, the Barrymore Awards. And it's a program where we sort of give them a look at like what arts administration is like, and follow their passions about like what excites them. For example, two of our fellows this year, Emma and Raven, have been doing a video series where they explore like behind the scenes of different venues in the Philly theater community. Most recently, we released a video about the Wilma, which Miss Pat led them on a beautiful tour.
That's awesome.
And there's a couple of other venues that they're touring, and those have been really fun videos to watch them make, and like they get excited about it because like these are concepts that they pitch to us like in their application, like when they're getting into it. Our other fellow Brianna, or Bree for short, is really excited about like accessibility to the arts, and we've been working with the Arden on a video which highlights their accessibility features, because they many different theater companies have a broad variety of accessibility features. The Arden, I would say, has a very high quantity of them and a whole lot of training. So we were able to stop by for King Headley the second to test out some of those features. So all of that is to say is the Fellows program is great because it sort of like highlights what like these young future or present artists are doing and what the future of Philly looks like. We've also got a program called Act 2 Next Generation, where Sabria takes a small group of high schoolers to different shows in the area, and they record podcasts about their experience as an audience member. And we've also got the Living Legends series, where we highlight folks in the Philly theater community who have been like instrumental in the community for years and years and years, sort of to just like honor their legacy in the scene. And we've got a lot of there are different programs that are still cooking. So I don't want to like give too much information about over here quite yet. But
there's a lot going on at Theater Philadelphia.
Once they happen, I will yell about it. So you'll hear about it for sure.
Great.
You can also check out all the different programs and what we have to offer on our website, theaterphiladelphia.org, which also has a lot of really great resources for audiences and artists alike. We've got a pretty robust job board that we update pretty darn regularly with different job offerings. We have our listserv, which is like a daily email that people can post to for free. We've got our show listings. We've got Barrymore Awards history and info. So yeah, check them out.
Absolutely. That's great. It's always good to know that Theater Philadelphia has got a lot going on. That's great.
Yes.
And so how can our listeners support Theater Philadelphia?
I mean, first and foremost, by going to see some Philly theater, because that's what Theater Philadelphia is for. Like, we are here to be an advocate for the Philly theater community and to like support and like empower organizations, regardless of like what financial resources they have, regardless of how long they've been in the scene. Like, all of it is valuable and wonderful. And so, like, just as a human being, as an artist, as an administrator, my number one way that you can support Theater Philadelphia is to go watch Philly theater. That said, as I mentioned, you can go to theaterphiladelphia.org. You can sign up for our newsletter, because social media is dying. But if you are like me on social media still, playing it out like the band on the Titanic, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. Those are sort of the main ones that we tend to post to the most regularly. Especially check our Instagram stories, because they're very fun, and like we do like community questions every Monday. So you can like, respond to those. They're always a fun way to like shout people out or shout out shows. And yeah, I mean, also you can support Theater Philadelphia by giving us money. But that's just true for literally every organization. If you want to give us money, that's always awesome. And I'm pretty sure there's a page on our website to do that. But really, the support is in the community. So like that's more my prerogative, unless you happen to be a billionaire listening to the podcast recording, in which case my Venmo is at CJ. And you can just send it to me, and I pinky promise it will get to at least 50% of the staff at Theater Philadelphia.
Awesome. Well, CJ Higgins, Director of Operations and Programming at Theater Philadelphia, thank you for taking the time to talk to us about Philly Theater Week. This is always a fun return every year. We get to talk about new shows and talk about what's going on in Theater Philadelphia and why. And all of these are examples of why the arts are so important and even more valuable today than they were yesterday. So thank you for taking the time to chat.
Fight fascism by supporting the arts.
Absolutely. Pour all your money in. Even the money you can't afford to put in there. Go ahead, dump it all in the bucket.
or sit in the seats. Like, truly, I can't stress enough. Like, it's like just being there. Like, that's the whole darn thing.
Yeah, the best way to support theater is to just be in a theater. It doesn't matter how you get there. It doesn't matter what discount you use, what friend you bring. As long as you're there, we're happy to have you there. Just join the conversation with us. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Darnell, for having me on and listening to my constant ramblings about art accessibility.
Absolutely, CJ. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. And there are links in the show notes you can all check out. And CJ Higgins, it was a pleasure chatting with you.
You as well, Darnell Radford.
Thanks again to our guest, CJ Higgins, for joining us on today's podcast. The Broad Street Review podcast is an Emory production. If you would like to be a guest on the podcast, visit us online at em3ry.com. Get involved with Broad Street Review. Head on over to our website at www.broadstreetreview.com and click Get Involved at the top. While you're there, help keep us running and click Donate to find out how. There you can also find our social media links. Thank you for your part in keeping the conversation going.